So one of the things that can be really confusing when we talk about phonemic awareness is the confusion between the development of phonemic awareness and instruction in phonemic awareness. So a lot of what we see in practice now in a lot of classrooms really comes from assumptions made about development. So early on in phonemic awareness research, researchers noticed that there was a typical sequence of development, that kids typically were able to attend to larger units like words or syllables, and then somewhat smaller units like onsets and rhymes, and then eventually individual phonemes. That's the typical sequence of development. So then there was an assumption made from that, that because that is what's typical, that we need to teach kids in that order. That's where we went wrong. So this idea that you have to learn how to rhyme or you have to learn how to segment syllables before you can segment phonemes is actually not true. In fact, those skills really don't help you with reading. It's the phoneme level that helps you with reading. And teaching those other skills doesn't even promote the phoneme level. That's what we thought for a long time, but we know now that it's not true. So phoneme level work is what's important, not the other levels. So we need to be careful about those assumptions that were made based on typical development. The instruction that we provide should focus on phonemes, not on larger units of sound. And the most essential skills for reading are phoneme blending and segmentation. So if we think about phonemic awareness and reading being reciprocal processes, developing phonemic awareness helps your decoding get better. Developing your decoding helps your phonemic awareness get better. That is a really important thing that can guide us in the decisions that we make. So just to distinguish those two things, phoneme blending, which leads to decoding skill, and phoneme segmentation, which leads to encoding skill. When we are talking about decoding, that means we see a word written and we say the sounds that we associate with the graphemes represented in that word, and we blend those phonemes together to get the word. When we're talking about encoding, we start with the spoken word, cat, and we segment the sounds in that word to then be able to represent that word in written form, to spell the word. So these are the two skills that are important to develop in phonemic awareness because they apply specifically to reading and spelling words. So for example, one of the things that we do to support this idea that decoding and phonemic awareness are reciprocal processes is we use manipulative letters. Using letters in your phonemic awareness instruction actually promotes better phonemic awareness and better reading. So I like manipulative letters because it provides a concrete representation, just like you would use concrete manipulatives in your math instruction. Using manipulatives in your reading instruction is helpful. And when those manipulatives are meaningful in terms of they're representing, these letters are representing the phonemes, that's even better. So I can show what a word looks like when it's segmented. That word is mat, segmented, and I can blend it together, say mat, right? And I can show, now I combine it, mat. So that really takes pretty abstract concepts of phoneme segmentation and blending and makes them more concrete for kids or more understandable for young learners. I can also model substitution. So I can take away the t and replace it with a p. This is giving something much more concrete for kids to understand the idea of substituting phonemes. One of the things that's important to know